Hi. What kind of lens do you walk around with? What is your perspective about your circumstances or about the circumstances around you? Do you have a huge lens on where all the influences of the world can create your perspective? And there's all sorts of things that are allowed into that space because the lens is so big that it's hard to actually even focus or remain objective about any of your perspectives because there's so much information, because there's so many voices or influences affecting your lens. At some point in our life, we all are in that position. At some point in our lives, we all have lenses this big. But the thing about life in Jesus is that He wants us to have a lens this big. Narrow is the way He tells us. In Matthew 7, verses 13 and 14, He says, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." In the Message version of the same scripture, it says, "Don't look for shortcuts to God. The market is flooded with surefire, easygoing formulas for a successful life that can be practiced in your spare time. Don't fall for that stuff, even though crowds of people do. The way to life, to God, is vigorous and requires total attention." When we have on a lens like this, we can't really be giving our total attention to anything because there's just so much. We can't focus. We just can't. We might pretend to. We might try and fool ourselves and fool other people into thinking that, oh yeah, we got it all together. We're fully focused. We got 10,000 things going on. And of course, we all know that that's just not how it works. But the world right now tells us, especially as women, that we got to have it all together. We got to be able to do it all by ourselves. But that's really just setting us up for failure because we all know that we can't do it all by ourselves. And so we're privately failing and feeling like failures. And we feel like, wow, like I'm missing out. What happened to me? Why can't I be all the things the world is telling me I need to be? Because our lens is so huge, we can't focus. But in Jesus, this is the kind of lens He gives us. A narrow lens. A lens that blocks out all of the stuff that isn't aligned with His truth for us. It's a lens that blocks out all the distractions, all the lies, all the things that the world tells us that we're supposed to be and do and say, but they don't align with what God says He has for us, what Jesus is trying to do in our life. So when we can take up His lens, then we can also surrender and let go of all of this junk. Because this is just junk. We don't need it all. We just need this. And He's got the rest. We don't need to live our lives feeling like we're failing and everybody else has got it together. We just need this. So, if you don't have this, if you don't have the lens of Jesus, if your perspective is so broad that you can't focus, that you're feeling like you're a disappointment, that you're feeling like you don't have it together the way the world says you're supposed to, turn these in and take these up. Ask the Lord to help you have His lens about your circumstances. It'll change everything. It's a whole new ballgame. And He just wants nothing more than to have the kind of relationship with you where you can see things the way He sees things. Hope you have a blessed day. Have fun in your journey of lens change.